This is Channel 2, Salt Lake City. All today's news with Randall Carlisle.
Tree of Utah will be unveiled on Interstate 80 just east of Wendover. Now, the imposing piece of art is the brainchild of a visitor to this state, but as KUTV's Chris Van Oker reports, the artist's name may soon become as well known as his work.
Driving on I-80 near Wendover, MOMEN became frustrated by the monotony of the salt flats and decided to spruce up the white land with an 83-foot tree. The Swedish artist insists no other site would be a proper setting for his work. Contractors are working double shifts trying to finish the tree by the Labor Day deadline. The tree will be more than 8 stories tall, 7 feet thick, and will weigh some 200 tons. In 4 weeks' time, the Tree of Utah will bloom not far from where we stand.
This is Channel 2, Salt Lake City.
Out in the desert where little grows, something magnificent has finally bloomed. The tree's trunk has been completely finished, and 2 of the multicolored leaves are now in place.
It's going to be a landmark for Utah, is no doubt. I'm absolutely sure.
What many people said couldn't be done will be all done later this weekend. And on January 18th, the ambassador to Sweden will meet here with Governor Norman Bangerter as the Tree of Utah is officially dedicated. Chris Van Oker, KUTV News, above the Salt Flats.
Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists. Carol Makita.
The Tree of Utah is finally taking shape. The giant sculpture located in Utah's western desert is the dream of Swedish artist Carl MOMEN. After spending more than $1 million of his own money and 2 years on this project, he's thrilled at seeing it come together. But there are others who aren't. If not a beautiful sight, it was at least intriguing as 2 giant spheres made their way down I-80 yesterday. The Tree of Utah is blossoming, literally. The spheres represent abstract clumps of leaves, and today were hoisted into place 80 feet up atop their also abstract tree trunk. To artist Carl MOMEN, it's a dream come true. He did it for himself, he says, but he at least wants reaction from others.
I hope they like it mostly, and they're going with the time, I believe, appreciate more because they break the monotony. They let them to think something, be angry or happy, one of these, anyhow.
Anger is an understatement when it comes to Joe Bauman's thoughts on the tree. As the environmental reporter for the Deseret News, he said in one article he wouldn't mind seeing it bulldozed.
I am serious about that. I myself wouldn't do it because I might get arrested, but if somebody else did, I certainly wouldn't mind.
Jim DeBackus, on the other hand, says, wait a minute, give the guy a chance. There's been too much negative before it's even completed.
The Art Center at the beginning and the Utah Arts Council until very recently, until the change in administration, I think, had a policy of a little bit of quiet support, but we don't want anybody to know that we support this because who knows what will happen to our funding or who knows what's going to happen to one thing or another. This guy has had a one-man struggle to put this thing up, and it's heroic what he's done.
DeBackus says he's sure others won't like it either, but predicts the Tree of Utah will be standing long after they're gone. Dedication is scheduled for January 11th.
From Salt Lake City, Utah's Channel 4, this is Nightcast.
It weighs 90 tons, stands 83 feet high, and cost more than $1 million to build. After 3 years of construction, the Tree of Utah was finally unveiled today. Our photographer Jim Lemon has been following its growth since it was a seedling. The vast and empty Utah salt flats. To Swedish sculptor Carl MOMEN, they are the perfect backdrop for art. Pipe, sunk 90 feet into the ground, formed the pedestal. Each of the balls, representing 6 planets orbiting the sun, were molded from concrete.
This is Channel 2, Salt Lake City.
They came by bus, by helicopter, and on foot to see a remarkable sight. No, not him, but this. Where is it? It's over here. It was hard for some to squeeze 83 feet and 900 tons of concrete, but not everyone is an art lover. And even at the tree's dedication, the controversy over the sculpture continued.
I see a big hunk of concrete that would look better outside a shopping mall than in the middle of the desert.
For Swedish artist Carl MOMEN, there will be no greater creation than the one he has now unveiled. But of course, there is more to the metaphor tree than just art. In a strange sense, this man born in a country halfway around the world has created something that uniquely celebrates the American spirit.
I think it's really great to have a dream, and that's what America's all about. If we don't have dreams, we don't ever do anything. I have a few of myself, and the time I don't have any, I hope I'm gone.
By the end of the month, Carl MOMEN will be gone from Utah, but his dream will be around for a long, long time. Chris Van Oker, KUTV News.
Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists.
The creator, it is the culmination of a dream, but to outspoken opponents, it is and will remain forever an eyesore. Swedish artist Carl MOMEN had his controversial Tree of Utah officially dedicated out on the Bonneville Salt Flats today. MOMEN was on hand for the services, as were Governor and Mrs. Norman Bangerter.
The 13th century by Indians in Peru. Very big one.
And we really appreciate, again, just like to mention Sweden. You know, as was indicated earlier, we've had Swedish people in this state ever since the time of our first pioneers came.
It's better than I thought. I love it. I think it's great.
You can find the Tree of Utah about 30 miles east of Wendover on the north side of Interstate 80.
Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists.
Well, remember the man who gave us the Tree of Utah? He's still around. Up next, a report from our Central Utah Bureau shows us what he's up to these days.
His style is abstract, his inspiration is mythology, and his artwork, it's unforgettable.
The man who created that unique sculpture on the West Utah desert called the Tree of Utah has located another monument here. Central Utah correspondent Robert Walls spent an afternoon at the BYU Art Museum with Carl MOMEN.
I am not a trend artist. I don't do a trend. I don't go after trend.
The artwork of Carl MOMEN is world famous. His unique style uses geometric elements, spheres, cubes, and cones. But most people in Utah know MOMEN for the Tree of Utah monument he built on the Bonneville Salt Flat.
The desert picked me. The desert is something very exceptional. It's right. It is almost, I am in another planet.
But now MOMEN has a second sculpture permanently rooted on Utah soil.
And it is, it's called Mercury Temple. That is, again, go back to Greek mythology.
MOMEN says he located the Temple of Mercury in front of BYU's Museum of Art because he loves the architecture of the building. He says he also loves the state of Utah and would like to live here permanently if it wasn't so cold in the winter.
The people are friendly, so it's different than the rest of the United States. Very friendly people.
MOMEN says color and form are his obsessions. The rugged texture of his oil paintings are as unique to his work as his signature.
You don't do what they want to have. You do what you want to have.
MOMEN uses his art to create his own universe, a far distant place, confusing to some, loved by others. A world governed by balance, form, and his own imagination.
I create beauty in the way I see it.
Robert Walls, KSL News, Provo.
Carl MOMEN's work will be on display at BYU's Museum of Art until the end of August. Admission is free.